Chapter 23. The Crucified Vampire. Dynasty Song. Wearing a dragon robe, Gu Hai stood in the square at the entrance of the imperial palace with his ministers, looking at the black bat army in the south that was as black as a dark cloud. The flying boat had shattered, and now Gao Xianzi was leading 100,000 wounded soldiers, while fending off the pursuers behind them, while running towards Kaogwo City. Quickly, ahead is Cheoja City. Once we reach Cheoja City, we will be safe, Gao Xianzi shouted. Protect the general. Bailey War roared and protected Gao Xianzi in the center. Squeak, squeak, squeak. Bats that covered the sky chased towards the 100,000 wounded soldiers. These were giant bats. The big ones were 10 jong in size, with hideous faces, swooping down again and again, and even opening their mouths to eat a general who couldn't escape as fast as they could. Giant bats, as if stepping on a black-robed man around. Emerging rolling black gas. There are endless small bats around rampaging general. Your Majesty, that giant bat is a bat demon, a demonic beast. And that one with black gas around it, containing countless small bats, is a vampire. This is a bat army of Dayuan. Cruel and violent, any army or city that is targeted by them, all of them become dead cities. Shangwan Trace frowned. Gao Xianzi's army. There are still 100,000 people left. No. Emperor, look. Tang Chu's eyes glared as he pointed into the distance. Originally, behind this bat army, but a first huge flying boat was in the midst of slowly advancing high in the sky. After the flying boats, a single general followed closely behind. The mountains were filled with encircling armies in all directions. Gao Xianzi's army, being teasingly driven, fled in haste towards Kaogwo City. Outside the city, shouting and killing immediately attracted the attention of the people of the whole city. Some people climbed high to look out. A glance, all the faces of a burst of ugly Dayuan army, pouring out their nest. So many troops, this is bad. Countless people showed a worried look. The last time Chongming brought 500,000 troops, it was already shocking enough. But this time, as far as the eye can see, there are 5 million troops. The people looked worried, but Gu Hai's expression did not move. Didn't come. Divine Martial King didn't come to meet us. Bailey Warfare said with a bitter look on his face. Keep moving forward and enter Kaogwo City, Gao Xianzi shouted. General, will Gu Hai open the city gates? Once he opens the gates and lets us in, that ferocious bat army will follow and break in, and Cheoja City, it will be broken. Yes, the Yuan soldiers have been hanging on to us, not going all out to kill us. They are using us to force Gu Hai to open the gates, to break the city. Will Gu Hai open it? A crowd of generals had bitter faces. One by one, the bat demons, vampires, all of them had a gloomy face. While wantonly catching and eating Gao Xianzi's army, they looked towards the distant city gates. Vampires only drank blood, but bat demons swallowed people alive. At this moment, everything depended on Gu Hai, whether he was willing to save Gao Xianzi and these people. The Emperor will open the door, Gao Xianzi said in a firm tone. Getting closer and closer to the city gates, all the generals showed their worries. Only Gao Xianzi's eyes were firm. Open the door, Gu Hai said in a deep voice. The voice was instantly transmitted through the sound amplification formation, and in the distance, the city guard generals were worried for a while. The bats that the bat demon and vampire had illuminated were over 100 million. Such a terrifying number that it made their eyes panic just to look at it. Could they open the door now? However, Gu Hai had already made arrangements. The ones guarding the entrance were the Foothills Stone Men, and when they received Gu Hai's order, they immediately opened the city gates. Kwong! The city gates opened, greeting the wounded soldiers. It's open. It's open. The city gate is open. Get in, the generals roared with excitement. Ga 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 ga. It's open. That idiot Gu Hai. Still open the door. Ha ha ha. Everyone listen. This general has obtained the marshal's consent to break through the city gates, and the city will be left for you to devour. Roar. The leader of the Bat army, a vampire with a hideous face, roared. Roar. Rumble. Rolling bats. They barged towards the city gates. Your Majesty, we can't open it. The vampires are coming in. There are many demons. Close the gate. Your Majesty, the people are important. A crowd of officials screamed in terror. However, they saw Gu Hai steeply flinging his big sleeve, and in his sleeve, a string puppet pole flew out, and under full force. Boom! The puppet pole immediately flew high into the air, enlarged 1,000 times, and violently flung out. As it was flung out, the string puppet pole suddenly blossomed with dazzling light. Boom! In the distance, all the bat demons and vampires that were swooping down from high altitude suddenly had their figures lurched. What's going on? I can't move. Me too. What's going on? I can't control my body anymore. Countless bat demons and vampires screamed in terror. HMPH. Gu Hai probed his hand. The undying divine flame instantly rushed up the string puppet pole, following the thin transparent threads and heading straight for the countless vampires. Gu Hai had the undying divine flame, but this time there were too many opponents. Previously, the undying divine flame dealt with dozens of vampires and dealt with Kuitai only. Now it was an army of bats, but it was an unknown number of times more. The undying divine flame couldn't encompass all of them. Then it had to be precise, following the transparent thin line and finally dividing it into every single vampire and bat demon. Boom! At once, the vampires and bat demons were covered with large fire dragons on their bodies, and they screamed in agony. Ah, help, it hurts. Can't move at all. Help, General. Quickly release me. Ah, what kind of flame is this? Why can't I block it? The flame seems to have burned my soul. No. Ah. The agonizing screams caused Gao Xianzi's army to be slightly stunned. The hundreds of thousands of bat demon army that had chased themselves in a sorry state and just now were all restrained. With the vampires restrained, the small bats they had conjured up could not advance a single point further. In the distance, the string puppet poles floated high in the sky, blooming with holy light in general. As long as they were enveloped by the holy light, all of these vampires were going to be burned to death. What a powerful cross. General, what kind of magic treasure is this Gu Hai? A cross that specifically restrains vampires. A series of exclamations rang out as the generals looked at Gao Xianzi excitedly together. However, Gao Xianzi was unaware of this. The miserable screams of the vampires and bat demons resounded through the heavens and earth. The undying divine flame burned their bodies. They simply couldn't be extinguished. Moreover, they were even more unable to move scornfully. And at the moment, large swaths of vampires and bat demons were being incinerated to death. Miserable screams immediately let the Yuan army in the distance face changed. On top of one flying boat in particular, the Grand Marshal of the Northern Expedition steeply sank in color and stomped to his feet. What is that thing? Someone looked at the huge cross in astonishment. I don't know, but it seems like that thing fixed the Bat Army, like it's the nemesis of the Blood Race and the Bat Army. A general's face changed. Humph, nemesis. It's just a string puppet pole. Take it that I don't recognize it. Bring me my bow and arrow, the Northern Expedition Grand Marshal said in a cold voice. Soon, a subordinate brought a purple bow and arrow. The Northern Expedition Grand Marshal probed his hand and pulled up the purple longbow. A purple aura blossomed from the longbow. The long arrow was hitched to it. The purple aura all surged into the long arrow, and at the tip of the long arrow, purple light rushed to the sky. Go! The Grand Marshal let out a loud shout. Shoo! The long arrow suddenly shot out, as if it was a purple rainbow, shooting from afar, straight at the string puppet pole. Not good. Purple extreme arrow. Be careful. Your string puppet pole can't block it, Bingji instantly said anxiously. Boom! With a loud bang, the threaded puppet pole blew apart with a blast of the arrow. Gu Hai probed his hand, and with a move, the fragmented string puppet pole instantly returned to Gu Hai's sleeve. Countless bat demons and vampires were able to move. However, the undying divine flame enveloped their bodies. The pain remained, and they kept flapping. But how could they not extinguish it? Undying divine flame. This is the undying divine flame. No. A bat demon recognized the undying divine flame. Quick, enter the city. Kill the person who set the fire before this fire can be extinguished. Kill Gu Hai. The cross has been shot to pieces by the marshal. No one can control us anymore. Quick, kill Gu Hai. The fire is burning so sodly. I'll kill Gu Hai. Gu Hai doesn't have the cross anymore. Quickly enter the city. The vampires and bat demons were in agony as they tried to rush into the city. A group of officials immediately showed anxious faces. Even Bingji showed worrying. Emperor Dahan, I know that Gao Xianzi's army hasn't all come in yet, but the string puppet poles have already shattered. They can't be held back. Close the door quickly. Hey, not far away on a floating island, Doming Wang Shen revealed a cold smile. Apparently also thinking that Gu Hai was plunging Kaoj City into doom by so indulging Gao Xianzi's army into the city. Go! Gu Hai let out a loud shout. However, it was the same action as just now. A big sleeve was flung, and an intact string puppet pole brushed up into the sky. The exact same string puppet pole as just now floated high in the sky, and the bat demons and vampires that were originally going to rush into the city were once again unable to move. Doming Wang Shen's face froze. There's another one. Bingji, vampire and bat demon. Countless Great Han officials. However, a large number of vampires and bat demons were burned to death, and their karma and 3 souls were transformed into heaven-mending power. Gu Hai was in his sleeve, fixing the string puppet pole. How come? How does Gu Hai still have a cross? No. Countless bat demons and vampires despaired. On the flying boat in the distance, the Grand Marshal's face was also gloomy for a while, and the longbow he had just put down was once again drawn. Boom. Another purple extreme arrow shot in. Boom. The string puppet pole exploded into pieces once again. HMPH. I'll see if you can still come up with a third one. The Grand Marshal let out a cold snort. At this moment, the crumbling string puppet poles were once again put away by Gu Hai. As the crowd was anxious and the vampire was about to rush in open-mouthed, Gu Hai threw out his big sleeve. Go. Another one flew high into the air. Marshal, Bingji, Doming Wang Shen,